Bomb Pops are a classic summertime treat. Its fin shape is so iconic that it has been trademarked, a protection that is rare for three-dimensional designs and places the Bomb Pop shape alongside the Coca-Cola bottle and the Hershey Kiss wrapper. And Bomb Pop's red, white, and blue colors make it particularly popular around the 4th of July holiday. But did you know that not only were Bomb Pops an ice cream truck icon, but also the beginning of a revolution that would take ice cream novelties to new heights and, well, lows of shape and design? This is the story of Bomb Pops and the company that invented them. Bomb Pop started with an ice cream maker named James Merritt. Merritt's ice cream business was called Southern Ice Cream and was originally founded in Tennessee. But in the 1950s, Merritt established a factory in Kansas City and moved his family to Missouri. The bulk of Southern's business was in wholesale ice cream, but an invention in the late 1950s would change the trajectory of the company. But the invention wasn't the Bomb Pop, it was notch sticks for novelty ice cream. The idea for notch sticks started with Thomas R. Korchak, who worked for advertising agency Richard Lane & Co. in Kansas City. Korchak thought that you should be able to do something with a wooden stick left behind after you finished eating in an ice cream bar. He thought if the sticks had notches in them, kids could fit them together to build little houses, chairs, tables, similar to the concept of Lincoln Logs. The sticks had grooves so that they could be used on the side or on the edges, and also had scoring marks where they could be broken at, creating 6 different building combinations. Now, it just so happened that Korchak was friends with James Merritt. Merritt was enthusiastic about the concept, reportedly telling Korchak,
"I don't see how this invention can miss."
Korchak and Merritt filed a patent and took the invention to Forster Manufacturing, the company that made ice cream sticks for Southern Ice Cream Company. And by 1958, Southern Ice Cream was testing out what was dubbed skill sticks in several cities, including its hometown. As hoped, the notch sticks increased the sales of Southern's novelties. As one ice cream truck vendor noted,
"Since the introduction of the new stick novelties, my sales and those of the vendors have experienced a considerable rise. It's getting so that it's impossible to sell a stick novelty without the new type stick. This is okay with us though, for we're selling more novelties than ever before."
Prior to the notch sticks introduction, novelties accounted for 20% of Southern's business. After the new sticks, it increased to 30%. And this increase was despite an unseasonably cold and rainy summer that year in Kansas City. As James Merritt told the Ice Cream Review,
"Though all our novelty sales are increasing with the new type stick, our water ice sales are outstripping the others. At 7 cents a piece, the water ices are by far our biggest novelty seller, and this was previously not the case. Since this is our highest profit item, we are of course extremely pleased."
Now a quick side note. A lot of the novelties Merritt's company made are what are called water ices, frozen confections, or ice pops. They aren't technically ice cream. They don't have enough milk or butter fat. Instead, ice pops are usually a combination of water, sugar, corn, or another type of syrup, flavors, and stabilizers. But for simplicity, I will mostly say ice cream trucks and ice cream novelties throughout this video, because that's how the broader industry is discussed in source materials. About the same time as its notch sticks, Merritt introduced a new type of ice cream novelty, a thin frozen treat which was called a Bomb Pop. Early Bomb Pops looked a little different than the iconic shape we're familiar with today. They had 6 protruding fins, but the top was more rounded and the fins were lower. But it didn't take long for the shape to change, with the top becoming flat and the fins extending almost the entire length of the Bomb Pop. In short, it seems like the original Bomb Pops looked more like, well, a bomb, and then were changed to look more like a rocket or missile in the mid-1960s. Another distinction of the original Bomb Pops, they weren't red, white, and blue. Early Bomb Pops were solid-colored and in flavors like chocolate malt. By the mid-1960s, Bomb Pops were available in two-tone cherry and orange flavor. But according to trademark records, it wasn't until 1970 that the tri-colored red, white, and blue Bomb Pops debuted. And it seems like the patriotic Bomb Pops came in with a bang, quickly becoming one of the best-selling ice cream truck treats. More significantly, it marked a shift in what kind of novelties were available. Previously, ice cream trucks carried old standbys like ice cream sandwiches, popsicles, creamsicles, and fudgesicles. The popularity of tri-colored bomb pops inspired all kinds of different pops in a slew of different flavors and shapes. As one ice cream truck driver noted,
"The red, white, and blue bomb pop was the biggest thing to hit the market in the past 10 years. Kids went crazy over them and they started a flood of different novelties."
And bomb pops and Merritt were no exceptions. Bomb pops continue to be available in more traditional fruity flavors like cherry and banana, but also in more unusual varieties like bingo bomb, fruity patootie bomb, candy bomb, and a bubblegum bomb, which of course came with a gumball attached. And Merritt created new pop shapes, like Clammy the Creep, a blue-faced monster with a bubblegum eye, which was the hottest, or well, coldest, seller of summer 1980. And Merritt was producing as many as 1.44 million ice cream or ice pop bars a day. But although bomb pops and Merritt revolutionized the ice cream novelty business in the 1970s and 80s with new shapes and flavors, the company was struggling by the early 1990s. Perhaps one indication that the company was in trouble came in 1990. Merritt had licensed popular comic book and television characters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and put Donatello's head on a stick, complete with green face, purple mask, and gumball eyes. The turtle treats were a huge success in the streets, prompting Merritt to sell a pack in supermarkets. But according to New York newspapers, demand for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pops was outpacing supply. One store owner noted,
"We usually get a shipment once a week, and in a couple of days they're gone."
An ice cream distributor added,
"I had stores that got a shipment Thursday and sold out Friday. This is 100% the manufacturer's fault, and they'll tell you that. We've only sold about $10,000 to $15,000 worth since the ice cream came out. If Merritt would make more available, we'd sell that much in 1 week."
But Merritt couldn't keep up. A year later, Merritt Foods ceased production altogether and closed its novelty ice cream plant in Kansas City. And that might have been the tragic end of bomb pops if it wasn't for another Midwestern ice cream company stepping in.
Need a Blue Bunny, no trick to it. Open up a carton, dig in and do it. Wales, get your taste buds hoppin'.
Iowa-based Wells, the owner of the Blue Bunny brand, bought the rights to bomb pops. Wells has made bomb pops ever since. Now, despite becoming one of the most iconic summertime treats, bomb pops haven't been without their controversies. First is the name. When bomb pops exploded in popularity in the 1970s, some parents were not enthusiastic about their kids buying and eating something with bomb in the name. As one noted,
"I find this particular product very offensive. It seems irresponsible to make a product so attractive to children and call it a bomb pop. This certainly does not help to promote any realistic notion of what a bomb is. In fact, it would almost seem to imply that bombs are a fun thing to be enjoyed."
Another parent wrote,
I find it deplorable that even ice cream comes in forms that suggest that the bombing and killing of people is perfectly American, cool, and delicious.
However, it's important to keep in mind that bomb pops were developed and named in the 1950s, smack in the middle of the Cold War and atomic age, when the possibilities of atomic energy and bombs were both a subject of American fear and fascination. There were many products introduced during this time period that referenced either atomic energy or bombs, including products targeted at children like this game from toy tycoon Milton Bradley.
Time Bomb. Everybody's playing Time Bomb. Haven't you? Then you better get a Time Bomb right away. It's a Milton Bradley game, and it's at your game store now. Watch. Boy, that's fun. That's exciting. You see, the idea is not to get caught holding the bomb when it goes off. You gotta be quick and toss it fast. And back and forth it goes, and oh, look who's out of the game.
So an ice cream treat called Bomb Pop probably didn't raise any eyebrows until after the name was a well-established brand. It's also worth noting that early store packaging for Bomb Pops featured the frozen treat in rocket red flavor with an astronaut mascot. This suggests that Merritt was more interested in capitalizing on American interests in the space race instead of in bombs and warfare. The second controversy took place after Bomb Pop had been sold to Wells Blue Bunny. In 1999, Blue Bunny hosted a scavenger hunt where kids could collect UPC codes from 4 different Blue Bunny novelties, including Bomb Pops, for a chance to win a Nintendo Game Boy. The problem? The scavenger hunt required kids to go online at bombpop.com and enter their full name, age, address, email, and favorite type of ice cream to register. The Blue Bunny scavenger hunt was cited as an example of why rules need to be in place to prevent companies from collecting information from children. In response, Blue Bunny created a parent's guide requiring adults to register on behalf of their children in order for kids to win prizes. The Federal Trade Commission also implemented the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act that required certain commercial websites to obtain parental consent before collecting, using, or disclosing personal information from children under the age of 13. Bomb Pop's popularity has also attracted imitators, namely popsicle brand's Firecracker.
Firecracker! Now with more intense flavors!
Only want a firecracker!
Although firecrackers look remarkably similar to Bomb Pops, the two brands have largely left each other alone, at least publicly. But in 2014, a change in packaging design prompted Unilever, the company that owns Popsicle and the Firecracker brand, to sue Wells for trademark infringement, alleging that Bomb Pop's packaging looked confusingly similar to firecrackers. In response, Wells countersued Unilever for false advertising, arguing that Popsicle had, quote, recently altered its firecracker product packaging to prominently feature the phrase, "the original," knowing that the Bomb Pop was the first red, white, and blue rocket-shaped frozen ice treat. And that if there was confusion among customers, it was the, quote, result of Unilever's infringement of Wells' trademarked Bomb Pop design. In other words, if consumers are likely to believe that Wells' Bomb Pop product comes from the same source as Unilever's Firecracker, which they are not, this belief would be caused by Unilever's adoption of a product configuration for its Firecracker product that is nearly identical to Wells' trademarked Bomb Pop design. Ultimately, the courts largely sided with Wells' Bomb Pops, but dismissed arguments made by both sides. Beyond other ice pop brands, Bomb Pop's design can be found on countless items for sale. Clothes, jewelry, candles, and pool floaties. The flavor combination has inspired alcoholic beverages and sports energy drinks. It's clear that Bomb Pop's popularity is not limited to the freezer aisle, but has been extended into many facets of summer and popular culture. And the next time you eat an ice pop with a perfect or a horrifyingly misshapen face of your favorite character, just know that, at least in part, you have Bomb Pops to thank. Thank you so much for watching. I was hoping to get this video out closer to July 4th, but I didn't quite make it. I hope you enjoyed it anyways. If you did, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to my channel below. It really helps me out. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time.